Prime Minister Narendra Modi will depart at 11 a.m. from India to visit Moscow. Russian President Vladimir Putin will be hosting him at the Kremlin very soon. The two leaders, remember viewers, last met in Samarkand in Uzbekistan on the sidelines of the SCO in 2022. This time round, they'll be holding restricted level talks and a wider delegation level meet as well. Both leaders are expected to keep India's special strategic partnership with Moscow in focus. My colleague Mehendi Garg joins us on the broadcast with more details. Mehendi, it seems that we're getting information that PM Modi will embark for the visit at 11 a.m. today. When do we expect him to reach? Is it sometime in the afternoon?
Well, yes, Pia, on the invitation of President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, Narendra Modi, the Prime Minister of India, is all set for his two-day visit in Russia. And as you also have said, Pia, that at 11 a.m., Prime Minister Modi will depart from Delhi. And, around afternoon, he will reach Russia, from where he'll be joined by the officials. And then the itinerary of Prime Minister Narendra Modi, along with the senior officials and the President of Russia, Vladimir Putin, is all set. And if we talk about the talks that will happen between both of these leaders, then these will be very important discussions. The bilateral talks will happen between the relations of both of the countries, and also this is a very important meet, as after the Russia-Ukraine war, the Prime Minister Modi is visiting Russia. So if we talk about the the discussions or the itinerary of Modi, then I would like to tell the viewers then that it includes a private meeting with Putin, and in that also the delegation level talks will happen between both the leaders, and also restricted talks will happen, which will we'll get to know after the talks that what all was discussed in those high level meetings between both the leaders. And also a lunch will be hosted by Vladimir Putin for the Prime Minister of this country, Narendra Modi. So yes, this is a very important meet because after 41 years also, this is the first time that a Prime Minister from India is visiting the Austria. So this is a very important meet, and two-day visit is also very important, as both the countries will exchange their views on the relations of these countries, and also the contemporary regional and global issues will be discussed between both these leaders. So yes, Pia, if we talk about the time, then it is expected that Prime Minister Modi will reach Russia sometime in the afternoon. Yes, Pia.
All right, Mehendi, with that, I would like to thank you for joining us live on the broadcast, of course, sharing all those details. We're, of course, expecting talks with regards to the comprehensive special strategic partnership that India and Russia share. We've, of course, been seeing, the Kalashnikovs being manufactured in India, joint development of the BrahMos missile. Russia has been helping us as far as the civil nuclear energy, and our foray into that sector is concerned, with the Kundankulam plant in Tamil Nadu as well. A focus on trade, fintech also expected, as well as discussions on the use of national currencies with regards to boosting this as far as trade is concerned. The Chennai-Vladivostok corridor, as well as India's line of credit to the Far East. Meanwhile, also joining us on the broadcast this morning is Ambassador Suresh Kumar Goyal, former diplomat. So thank you for taking our time speaking to us on the broadcast. India's visit right now, the Prime Minister Narendra Modi's visit to Russia, is a very big statement, because he was just at the G7 a while back, and if you look at the photograph over there, he was standing right in the center. India has, of course, been advocating for dialogue and discussion with regards to the war in Ukraine, and despite pressure from the West, we are continuing to keep our ties with Russia warm and cordial. We still import crude oil from them as well, despite American pressure. What do you think is likely to be discussed today, and can India help in bringing about broader consensus as far as bridging the gap between the West and Russia is concerned?
Yeah, thank you very much. I think you have said all that had to be said about the actual details on the content of the visit, and therefore I'm not going to go into the nitty-gritty. And as the EM said, we will know it really at the end of the visit what actually was the outcome. It's not really good to predict or forecast of the details, which are quite a few really. Let me put a bit of a geopolitical or geostrategic perspective on the visit. First of all, please do note that this is the first bilateral visit of Prime Minister Modi after being re-elected. He had gone to Italy for the G7 meeting, multilateral, with a different context. This is the first bilateral visit. which indicates the importance we attach to Russia as our partner, foreign policy partner, strategic partner, number one. Number two, the visit is taking place at a time when there are rapid shifts in the strategic metrics in our region as well as in Europe and internationally. You have mentioned Ukraine war, you have mentioned other things, but the point really here is that the balance of power between Russia, USA, and China has witnessed massive changes over the last 5 years since the last visit of Prime Minister Modi. And therefore, China being a challenge which India has, and which actually I would say brought India and the USA together, Quad, I think, was a response to the growing Chinese influence. And China is getting increasingly closer to Russia, and Russia is close to India. Therefore, it's going to be interesting to see how Russia, China, India metrics, not the equation, but the balance of power can be really adjusted to ensure Indian interests are achieved in the region, and that's a very important one. So Russia will have a big role to play in that matrix. Yeah.
Indeed, sir, as you stated, this is very crucial for maintaining checks and balances in the world order. We've just seen the SCO meet recently conclude as well. Even though the heads of state did not attend, we did not see Xi Jinping or even Prime Minister Modi or even President Putin over there. All the foreign ministers were there. Several high-profile bilaterals were held there as well. So India's presence at both the G7 and the SCO is indicative of us being a Vishwa Bandhu. But do you also think we're sending a very clear message out to the world that India is going to take its own fate in its own hands? We're not going to buckle down to any pressure that is exerted on us, and we will ink our own foreign policy according to our own interests?
Pressure. Every foreign policy equation, there are forces working on the relationship, and we have to adjust to those forces and develop our own counter responses. So therefore, let us not talk about the pressure or buckling under the pressure. But I think what is important is that India is now playing the kind of role internationally, and not just in terms of non-alignment, keeping distances away from the major superpowers, but India is beginning to play a role in the foreign policy matrix that actually is proportionate to its size and power. The only caution that I would say is that we must be equally cognizant of developing our own strengths through bilateral relations with other countries, so that our responses are in balance with our own strengths. Unless there is an asymmetry between our response and power, that I think will sometimes fall flat. Yeah.
For more such videos, subscribe to the NewsX YouTube channel, hit the bell icon.